Hey, Pretty Girl Club. I want to talk about some of the hypocrisy that I have seen in Blackistan when it comes to Kenya Moore's hair care line. So, first of all, this goes along with my talking point where I say that unambiguous women always need our help, okay? They're always looking for someone who benefits from an ism to help them solve the problem of their own ism. So, they're looking to Kenya Moore, who literally benefits from texturism. They're looking for her to help them solve their 4C hair problems. So that's already a bad social climbing tactic right there. Do you see the external locus of control? Oh, I have 4C hair and I'm depending on a woman with loose type 3 hair to serve me. So it's her responsibility to create hair products for me. You know how they did this to Beyonce? They begged Cardi B to do a hair care line, and now they're trying to cancel Kenya Moore because they're claiming that she is discriminating against 4C hair when that's actually not what happened. So they're literally creating a false narrative around this woman's business. But what I remember about Kenya Moore, I remember this is a long time ago when she was on Real Housewives. I remember her getting canceled for wearing a Native American headdress when that's a part of her own heritage. Like, she literally got canceled for essentially being too black. You know, basically being too black to wear anything that represents Native Americans. The women on the show were chastising her for that. And as far as her hair care line goes, this is the post right here where she got canceled. This is not her saying anything about the hair care line. She's actually looking for models in this post. It says $25 model special tomorrow, Friday, July 18th, and Sunday. I'm looking for clients who can model their hair for content purposes. So this is a modeling gig. She didn't say, oh, if you have 4C hair, you can't use my product. No, she's looking for models. So they're actually just mad because they didn't get picked to be a model for Kenya's hair care line. So it says, shampoo, condition, and trim included. Models are needed for a silk press, a quick weave. We supply the hair and the style, and then a blowout with light, hot tools. Not for 4C or excessively curly or thick hair. Must have an appointment. So the reason that she said not for 4C hair is right here in the post. It literally says that she's doing a blowout, using a light, hot tool. So that's basically like a hair dryer that you would use in a hotel room. So the reason she said, oh, it's not for 4C hair is because with the styles that they're providing for the content, it won't work on 4C hair. So that's actually her being considerate. That's her being considerate and thoughtful of women who have 4C hair. That's not her discriminating against 4C hair. It's literally the exact opposite. Kenya Moore is saying in this post, all we're doing is blow drying for our content. That's all we're going to show for the video that we're doing where we need the models. And so that's why you can't have 4C hair. Everybody knows that the looser your hair texture is, the less heat that you need to get it straight and to get it to stay flat. So she's just creating content. That's all. She said nothing about, oh, if you have 4C, your hair is too nappy. And I saw on YouTuber Myoa's World's channel, I saw that she was like, oh, they're acting like this is just a preference. Well, segregation was a preference. So they're comparing Kenya Moore's Instagram post to segregation. Do you see how they have this tendency to create a false equivalency? So because Kenya Moore didn't want to cast 4C hair models, now suddenly that's on par with segregation, where black people were literally being unalived and killed in the streets. So not choosing a woman to be your supermodel with her 4C hair is literally in the same boat as segregation. Do you hear how crazy that sounds? And by the way, I thought Kenya Moore is just black and unambiguous and dark-skinned, and everybody looks like Kenya Moore. What happened to that talking point? So that's how I know that they're lying when they say that, oh, all of us are just black. We're all just black at the end of the day. We're all the same at the end of the day. Well, no, actually you're not. Because you're literally accusing Kenya Moore of being an oppressor. You're basically accusing her of being like a colonizer by comparing her Instagram post to segregation, which is ridiculous. And when it comes to 4C hair, we all know that according to their own talking points, it takes longer to do a blowout and a silk press on 4C hair. So why would Kenya Moore, all she wants to do is create content. Why would she spend 8 hours styling somebody's hair for $25 when their hair is 4C? That doesn't make business sense for Kenya. So I'm not surprised. I would do the exact same thing. If I had a hair care line and all I'm doing is making a 15-second reel, yeah, I do want somebody where it just takes a couple of seconds, or, it just takes a very small amount of time to get their hair done. And you don't have to do high manipulation. If you're doing 4C hair, that requires a higher amount of manipulation, according to their own talking points. But I also wanted to show some photos of Kenya Moore's natural hair. So obviously she has long, natural, waist length, loose, curly hair. And I just find it hilarious that they have this love-hate relationship with women in the black community who benefit from isms. It's like, oh, I hate you because you benefit from isms. I'm going to compare you to segregating us, because creating a hair company, you're so powerful, Kenya Moore, that you have now reinstalled segregation in the United States by making an Instagram post. Do you see how high of a pedestal they put Kenya Moore on? And then somebody made a post about her on Reddit, and they were like talking shit, basically. They were like, Kenya gets up every day and puts in green colored contacts as an almost 60-year-old woman. Okay, and you're getting up and posting a Reddit post about a 60-year-old woman who you don't even know. So if you benefit from the isms, I already told you guys, they will try to call out our beauty enhancements even more because they feel like it's a way of cheating, because you're passing already. You're already benefiting from some sort of ism. So if you enhance your ambiguity, now you're passing as mixed. Now you're passing as biracial or passing as white or whatever. So that's why they don't really like it when we wear beauty enhancements. So you got this woman who is outraged because she's saying that Kenya Moore wears colored contacts. And in her post, she's like, I love me some Kenya, but I want her to let the contacts go and heal, sista. I was looking at a picture of her and noticed how bad the contacts look. Her eyes don't seem to be dark brown or close to black when she was young, more lighter brown, but the greenies have to go. Okay, so first of all, she negated her own talking point because she admits that, oh wait, Kenya Moore, she doesn't have dark brown eyes. So her eyes were already pretty light. She already had kind of, I guess, these medium brown eye colors or whatever. And then she posts this picture of Kenya Moore. So apparently this is supposed to be Kenya Moore, quote unquote, looking bad. Do you see how hard they want to convince women? They love trying to convince you that you're ugly. A woman who's jealous of you will go out of her way to try to convince you you're ugly. So apparently this is supposed to be Kenya Moore looking, quote unquote, bad or looking ugly with the green contacts on. And then she tried to screenshot a photo of Kenya back in the 90s, like her quote unquote real eyes, as if she's exposing her. Her natural eyes are not far off from the green contacts at all. And my question is, why should Kenya Moore cater to the black community anyway if this is how they're going to treat her? If you're accusing her of enforcing segregation and essentially being a white supremacist because she wouldn't let a woman with 4C hair be a model, it's like, bitch, I'm letting you model my product. If I'm a casting director, I get to choose who I cast in the role. So I'm not surprised if Kenya Moore wants to support Exoticals getting those brand deals. That's what Kenya Moore is doing in her post. She's basically implying, if you're an Exotical, please apply. You will get a discount and we can do your hair for $25. So why would you be mad that Kenya Moore is celebrating her own hair texture or hair textures that are more similar to hers? Do you see how if you have curly hair and then you want to use curly haired women as your models, oh, well, your texture is, well, that's a form of segregation. So they want to be included in Exotical spaces. They want to be included amongst our hair care lines. They want to be included as models when the owner looks more like us. Cardi B, Beyonce, Kenya Moore. Their hair textures are more like ours. Their skin tones are more like ours. Their eye colors are more like the women on this channel. So they want to be included. But then when it comes time for us to speak in the black community, they want to silence us. So do you see how it's like, they want to latch on and ride the coattails of our community, but then they don't like it when we do that to them because they say that we're dipping in and out of blackness. They'll say that we're black when it's convenient. They accuse Kenya Moore of, quote unquote, segregating, or, they compare her Instagram post to segregation, which is just laughable. That's a form of rage bait. So Myoa's World, the YouTuber, she used that term segregation, like, oh, well, Kenya Moore's actions are just a preference. Well, segregation was just a preference too. She's trying to create this false equivalency to get her audience enraged at Kenya Moore. She wants her black audience to be mad at Kenya Moore. She wants Kenya Moore to get canceled. Or they want to bully Kenya Moore into basically celebrating 4C hair. You can't do that. You can't bully somebody into loving you. You can't bully someone into celebrating you. And aren't black women the main ones who say to go where you're celebrated? Okay, so if Kenya Moore is not celebrating you by inviting you to be a model, then why are you even paying attention to her? Oh, it's because Kenya Moore is the dark skin beauty standard. That's why. Oh, it's because Kenya Moore's hair is the black beauty standard for hair. It's because she has quote unquote good hair. She has the type of hair that women purchase. You know, she has the hair length that most women have never even achieved in their lives. And I've also noticed a pattern where the black community will gaslight the Exoticals who have a similar phenotype to Kenya Moore. They'll say things like, oh, well, you're not biracial. Oh, well, you don't count. Oh, well, the light-skinned women won't accept you. So they want to make these Kenya Moore types of women feel excluded. It's a form of humbling. It's no different from the men who say, you're not a 10, you're a 3. You know, you're a 6. You're down here at the bottom with me. I noticed that some women will try to do that to the women who have Kenya Moore's phenotype. And it's like, okay, regardless of what you think her racial background is, the bottom line is she does not have dark brown eyes, as proven by this picture here, whether she wears green contacts or not. She does not have 4C hair, as proven by this picture here, showing her natural hair. And then this is her mother. Okay, so I don't care what category people try to put Kenya Moore in, but it is laughable to try to put her in the same category as women like Chrissy or Myoa's World or Queen Trauma. She's just not in the same category. That's literally not her story. That's not her background. And so to expect Kenya Moore to be this super Afrocentric hotep, why is it that they want women who benefit from isms to be hoteps? You know, they want these admixed women, they want these mixed race women, all these curly haired women with light eyes. You know, they want us to be hoteps. And then in return, they bully those same women and say things like, oh, well, she's 60 years old and she's wearing contacts. First of all, what does being 60 years old have to do with anything? Oh, well, Kenya Moore at her big age, she's 60 and she wakes up every day and puts on green contacts. Oh, you mean the same way that your 60-year-old mother wakes up and puts on a lace front every single morning? The same way that your mom puts on a Mary J. Blige blonde synthetic wig every morning? So it's like, what point are you trying to make? Is there a rule? Like, is Kenya Moore banned from wearing contacts? Like, what's the difference between her putting on contacts and yo mama putting on a lace front? What's the difference? Women put on beauty enhancements all the time, but do you see how it's more of a problem when you're already pretty, like Kenya Moore? You know, you already have the long curly hair, and then now you're putting on green contacts, so now you've got, you know, curly hair and green eyes, or at least you've got the illusion of that. But my question for Black YouTube is, whose responsibility is it to represent dark-skinned black women with 4C hair? In fact, Myoa's World herself, the YouTuber, why doesn't she start a hair care line for 4C hair? I mean, she has long 4C hair, the freeform locks and everything. Why aren't black women begging Myoa's World or begging Olandria or begging Normani? Or, you know, why aren't they begging these women to create hair care lines and cater to them? Why are they begging and groveling at the feet of Kenya Moore and Beyonce and Cardi B? What do you ladies think? Let me know in the comment section, and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.